Welcome to the regular council meeting, February 22nd. I'll begin with the roll call.
Councilmember Babcock. Councilmember Brookover. Here. Councilmember Watson.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Gregg.
Here.
Mayor Bacon.
Present. Next, I'll look for a motion approving the agenda.
So moved.
I'll second.
Moved by Councilperson Brookover, second by Mayor Pro Tem Gregg. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed? Motion carries. I'll move approval of the minutes. Regular council meeting, February 8th, 2022, along with discussion-only meeting, February 15th, 2022. I'll look for a second.
Second.
Moved by me, second by Councilperson Babcock. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Watson.
Yeah.
Councilperson Watson? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Next to written communication. All written communication received before 4 p.m. will appear on the online packet. Next up, we will look for communication from the audience. In-person communications. If you approach the podium, please fill out one of the blue slips, including your information, so we can keep track of who is presenting. Anyone in the audience who would like to present, approach the podium. All right. Anyone in the online queue?
We do not have any callers on the line.
Next up, communication from council. Councilperson Brookover.
No, thank you, Mayor.
Councilperson Babcock.
Yes, thank you. This is my favorite time of the year, the time of year I look forward to all year long now that I am no longer a leader. It is Girl Scout cookie time, and cookies will be available in East Lansing, including at Newman Lofts this Friday and around town. There is an app for that. You can look up the Girl Scout Heart of Michigan website, or you can download an app and type in the zip code or city where you are and find cookies. East Lansing Info recently had a really great story about some girls who've done great community service projects in East Lansing who are one of the Girl Scout troops. You will benefit by buying the cookies. So I'd like to say go out there and enjoy some Thin Mints. It's the right thing to do.
Councilperson Watson.
Pass, thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Gregg.
Yeah, I just have a quick note. We lost the opportunity to embarrass an outgoing staff member in person because last week was his last meeting, and I didn't realize that until at the end because he was real quiet about it. But Jackson Mills has been working in our clerk's office for, years, and provided a lot of the online support that everyone appreciated but didn't know that they were getting during the pandemic with the relatively smooth functioning of our online Zoom meetings. So I just wanted to wish him the best in his new position. I don't remember the exact title, although he told me, but I do know that it's working with low-income housing and housing security, which is pretty exciting. So hopefully we'll see him back when those items come back onto our agenda.
All right, and I just have one item. This time of year with premature thaws and this type of thing, and I often forget to do this as well, check your sump pumps. Get down in your basement, in other areas of your house on the lower levels if you haven't checked in a while. These are the types of progressive thaws and rains and continued wetness that can cause problems. And I'm going to do that as soon as I get home. It just hit me when I was sitting up here. I have not spent enough time in my basement, and I need to go look around, make sure everything's cool. So just remember to check your sump pumps. Next up, City Manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor. Nothing to report.
City Attorney's report.
City Attorney is not present on vacation.
Okay. Item 3.1, next up, Lansing Regional Chamber of Commerce 2020 Celebration of Regional Growth Award. And obviously that you see that date, and that tells you how complicated this has been to get Tim. And,
it's a little past due, but Mayor Bacon and East Lansing City Council members, thank you for the opportunity and a few minutes on the agenda tonight. I'm joined by Steve Japping, my colleague at the Chamber, who's our Senior Vice President of Public Affairs, and so appreciate the opportunity to be here. We are here tonight to present the city with the Celebration of Regional Growth Award. And the Celebration of Regional Growth program is a program that's offered through the Lansing Economic Club. And it celebrates economic development projects throughout the region, job creation and investment. And in the 16 years, we've recognized 85 businesses and projects that have invested more than $4 billion throughout our region. So it's obviously had a long time sustained initiative for the chamber, and it's one of the best programs we get to do each year as well, and really kind of celebrating the growth that we see throughout our region. And so we're here tonight to recognize the city for the Coleman Road extension, which was in the northern tier of the city that we opened, I think, back in October of 2020, so really right in the middle of COVID and so forth. And so the program we did in November of 2020 was virtual, and we're finally out making our rounds and getting the awards delivered, so that it was a collaborative effort between the Capital Council of Governments, which includes the counties of Ingham, Eaton, and Clinton, with CapCog, as well as Michigan State University, part of the CapCog initiative, but also it was included the city of East Lansing and DeWitt Township as well, and several private sector partners that really advocated for the dollars to do the project, of which I believe it was 20 years in the making. I know it goes back a long time in getting that road built and really kind of connecting that northern tier up there, which we kind of see as kind of the financial services sector for and hub for our region. So, and I know at the time East Lansing Mayor Mark Meadows was certainly involved and instrumental in a lot of work in his leadership, and so we certainly want to recognize former Mayor Meadows and Councilmember Meadows for his work as well. So, again, a very collaborative, very positive investment throughout our throughout the region, and we're pleased to be here tonight to present the award. I don't know how we want to do it. I can leave it here, or I certainly don't want to protocol and present up there, but we're certainly happy to. I'll bring it up to the mayor.
Thank you.
Yeah, very good. Thank you. Steve, you want to? Steve.
Put this over here. Yeah, let's do it.
I actually thought I saw Tom walking too. But
We're all smiling too, yeah.
thank you. I said about the second. All right.
I was getting nervous just holding this thing.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, all right. Thank you, Tim. Appreciate it.
Good to see you.
Mr. Mayor.
Always. Shiny stuff. You have to pass it around. All right. Thank you guys from the chamber, and thanks for all the support. And just anecdotally, I think this was one of my early council things when the ribbon cutting was taking place on this big project, and I was like, well, that was easy. So this council thing is easy. So and seeing all the work that went into it, I really appreciate the stick-to-itiveness, knowing how hard it is to get any project done, particularly one across jurisdictions and multiple counties and municipalities. It's very difficult, knowing what I know now, but that is awesome work. Next up, items 4, consent agenda.
I move the approval of the consent agenda.
Second?
You want to read it into the record
Yeah.
first? We'll have them read it in, then we'll
Sorry, I forgot that.
Taking away my thunder here.
It's a rough
Yes.
night.
Exactly.
I think
Sorry.
people are tired
All
tonight.
right. I have the following items on the consent agenda for council's consideration. Item 4.1, approve the following appointments or reappointments to boards or commissions. A, Kobi Sunday to the University Student Commission for a partial term ending September 30th, 2022. B, Silvia Tita to the Art Selection Panel for a full term ending December 31st, 2024. Item 4.2, approve the city manager performance evaluation form to be used for his 2022 evaluation. 4.3, approve traffic control order 488 for the installation of 2 reserved parking for senior signs at the main entrance to the library. Those are all the items on the consent agenda for council's consideration.
Consent agenda moved by Councilperson Brookover, second by Councilperson Babcock.
I have a few questions.
Questions or comments?
Yeah. I have one question about item 4.2, where it says in there that by May 1st and within 30 days. And I was just curious if that's a good time frame because of the budgeting that goes on during that time.
It's not a bad time frame, but that's what it spells out in the contract. So
Okay.
we're kind of locked into it, but I think that largely at that point, the budget process has been, our part is done, and it's come over to council. So from our perspective, it's okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And my other question was about the next item number, which was the traffic. I lost my stuff, but is it 4.3? Is that something we could do downtown for seniors in some way, shape, or form?
The implementation of traffic control orders is something that we can implement, pretty much anywhere, within the city jurisdiction. So it just it gives us the opportunity to enforce it and put signs up. So.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks. That's all.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Consent agenda carries. On to business agenda, item 5.1, approval of a contract for Gianmarco Mullins and Horton for city attorney services, not including prosecution services.
We approve the contract that was, I think, modified / restated by the city manager in a communication late this afternoon on our email. I don't have it in front of me, but I'm moved that we approve that.
The mayor pro tem has the official read. She can read it and you can bring the second.
I'll second that, if I can make an amendment to that, Mr. Brookover, if you don't mind. So approve the amended contract, and to clarify that we intend to continue with Foster and Switch for pending litigation as outlined in the open litigation matters memorandum from the city attorney Genovich dated February 15th, 2022, if that's acceptable.
I actually assumed that was part of that motion, so
Yep.
as connected to it, so.
Perfect. I am
Thank you.
happy to second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Item 5.2, approval of contract, Easterly Law, PLCC for city attorney prosecution services.
I'll move approval of the contract with Easterly Law for city attorney prosecution services.
Looking for a second.
I'll second it. May I friendly amendment offer that we clarify it as the flat fee rate of $360,000 a year.
I think that's up for cover. Can I hear from the city manager in the review of the rate services?
So we had this conversation on last week, myself and Mr. Easterly, and we did not come to an agreement on that issue. I noted from our review of it that we believe that the flat hourly rate of $135, $145 is an error, the number was $135 that we agreed to. Mr. Easterly agreed to that $135 an hour. He believed the flat fee rate was beneficial to both parties, and from our review, I believe that the $135 per hour, paid on a per hourly basis, was more beneficial to the city. And so we had a difference of opinion on that, and I said that I would present that we both had a difference of opinion and what both people were recommending.
The hourly rate listed on our agenda item is $145. Was it $145 or $135?
It is, it is supposed to be 135. We actually have an amended contract that said 135 on it. So the rate should be 135, and that's what, that he and I agreed to correct the rate, because he agreed to match Gianmarco's contract rate, which was 135.
Okay. The contract also says 145.
Yep. And that's an error.
Okay, that's an error. So there's a, okay. Considering that, Councilmember Babcock, are you still moving the flat fee?
I would like to either do the flat fee or hold off until we get clarification on that 135 versus 145, because I'm not sure. Mr. Easterly's a pretty button down kind of guy, and his contract says 145, so I want to be sure that that's what he actually agreed to. Or we could, I think flat fees always work out better for the person doing the hiring. You know what you're going to pay. There's no doubt at the end of it. And we know with this guy in particular, he's going to do so much more than we ask of him. So we know any benefit of the bargain is going to be on us, his employers, because he will always go the extra mile. So I would prefer the flat fee.
Mayor, if I may?
Absolutely.
I'm not prepared to move ahead with this at this point tonight, so if we do go ahead with the motion, I'll be voting against it. No, it has nothing to do with Mr. Easterly, but the reality is, I view this as an incomplete agreement for a variety of reasons. Number one, the price is unclear, but number two, it seems like the term flat fee has somehow, that I thought we were talking about a capped rate fee. And so that has now morphed into something called a flat rate fee. And as I'm reading this, it's one or the other. And I don't view that as to the benefit of the citizens, because to me, a cap rate means here's our hourly rate, and over the course of the contract, we will never bill you more than this gross amount. So in other words, there's a set hourly rate, and then there's a guarantee that there's a cap on all of the hours and all the time. So that's number one. Number two, as I go through this, I just think there's stuff missing. And the easiest thing to do is compare it back to the Foster Swift contract, which I think he probably used as a format here. But there's no provision for insurance, for liability insurance. There are some other provisions that are missing that I think are probably pretty significant provisions. So I just, the way I view this, and my suggestion is this is an incomplete agreement, and so I'm not prepared to vote on this tonight.
I think definitely getting resolution to the price number here, and then is this annual cap figure right here at 380 the maximum, city manager? Is that how I'm reading it?
So yeah, the way I read it currently is that you can select an hourly, and the hourly of 145 here, I think we verbally agreed to 135, or the annual cap fee, that it cannot go above 380 without express written approval from the city. So at that point, he would notify us and call, and then it doesn't say whether there'd be continued work beyond that, or we select the flat fee rate of 360 divided amongst 12 monthly installments, and then there is no savings or above. You're just paying $360,000 divided by 12 for any and all work. So those are the two options that I see. And again, I would propose that at 135, which is what I believe that we agreed to, was the fee for, and paid on an hourly basis, is more beneficial to the city.
So will we be tabling this
Yeah.
until we get the clarification and move it on to the next agenda?
Yeah, you could defer it to a date certain, so make a motion to defer it to the next meeting date, which is March 8th. So just make a motion to defer to March 8th. If there's a second and then council votes on that, then it goes to March 8th, and then we can have more time to figure out the details.
I move we table to March 8th.
Deferred.
Defers the proper language.
Deferred is the proper term, but
Bring it back with defer, Councilperson Brooke.
If you prefer.
Yep.
Okay, defer.
thank you.
Moved by Councilperson Brookover, second by Councilperson Watson. All in favor?
Second? I'm sorry.
Councilperson
I'm
Watson.
sorry, I didn't, I'm sorry.
No, we're in it together. One of those days. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries to March 8th, date certain. And if I'm reading correctly, that is the end of our agenda. Meeting adjourned.
Is that a world record?